Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for EGLD. Now, over this video, I'm going to explain how to adjust a count in real time if the path is not following for your primary. So you might want to stick around. I think this will be pretty educational. But first of all, on the 1 hour, we had a diagonal off the low, and we're now looking for a 3-wave correction before the next move to the upside. So based on this current labeling, we need at least 618 extension of our A wave off our B, which is down at 43.72. And you can see we have not reached that target. So we don't have the minimum requirements based on this current count. So we can see we broke the trend line, and I start to ask myself, okay, it's not invalid yet, but if it changes, this count isn't correct, and how would I adjust that? So one way it could be considered complete, which I don't really like, but I'll show it to you, is this is a 3-wave move for our W. We have a tiny X wave, and then we have a flat as an A, B, C, and that was a diagonal, but our 5 waves are over here. That's one way it would work, and it's one way where we'd hit our minimum required target of the 618, as you can see. I'm not a big fan of that. It's a tiny X wave. I feel like I'm reaching for the labeling. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but if we do make 5 waves out of here and we break this previous B wave pretty impulsively, I have to consider it an option if we do something like that. Another option is we're still in the middle of a B wave, and this is some sort of double zigzag, in which case our B wave would be over here. We'd have to re-pull our fibs, and this is a flat in between, and we'd expect another move to the downside for our C wave. So that's option 2 if we start to go from here. So you can see the confusion in this area. Another option, I'm not trying to confuse people, I just want to show you in real time how this would work. Another option is this is our W wave as some sort of zigzag or double zigzag. We have an X wave over here, WXY as a flat, and we're now working on a second ABC. We have 5 waves down in a leading diagonal, A, B, C, and then we complete. So this is how complicating this area can be, and for that reason, this is a no trade zone for me. I need some clarity. I need a low to down here. If this does end up being some chop, I need it to be a 1-to-1 to this area, and then I'd be like, okay, this is a B wave, and we're going to make our C wave to the downside. I need more price action. If this ends up making an impulse to the upside, that's perfectly fine as long as it's well past this extension, and then I'll be fine buying the 50 to 618 of this move to the upside, anticipating we take off after. Not really missing much in the grand scheme. So this one isn't invalid yet. I just want to be clear. It's not invalid. It's just more of a channel than contracting. And until we break this area, I'm going to leave it as is. But those are the things going on in my head, just so you know. So to keep this count intact, I wouldn't want us to come past 53.404 there, past the 618. The 1-to-1 extension of this first wave for our 4th to complete is there at 52.70. So we're right in that zone, which is perfectly valid for us to make that 5th wave to the downside. But another thing to throw the wrench in this current correction is, remember, this could all be an A wave we showed earlier. We could come a little higher for our B and make a C wave to the downside in that WXY, where we're just making an ABC and we need further downside. In that scenario, we can come from this entire move to the 50 and the 618, right? which isn't that much further than the current price action now. That's at around $55 max. And that could get just a little bit more complex where we do something like this. And then we get our C wave to the downside, because we would be correcting this move and expect it to take a decent amount of time, right, before we make that C wave to the downside. But I hope I didn't over confuse any of this. I just wanted to give a little education of how we would adjust things in real time, and that those are all the options I'm considering. To repeat, does this B wave extend and we get a move to the downside after? Is this a W wave X and this turns into an ABC? Or is this a really awful WXY and we're complete? In which case we'd expect 5 up. But by then it would go well past this and we just play the retrace. So it's important to have a plan. So that's the update for EGLD. For me, it's a no trade zone. Great area to buy spot for long term, because I do expect this to resolve its way to the upside eventually, and we're in a pretty tight range. But when you're day trading, those tight ranges are everything, right? You need a good wave count to get confident in any move. And as you can see from everything I explained that can happen in this area, I'm not confident on any move currently. So going to give this one a little more time, need more price action, see the waves fill out, and I will update this after the fact. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.